Kenyatta's confirmation, but we understand that Raila Odinga is well on his way to Bomas of Kenya for that particular meeting. We'll get to understand maybe later on in our bulletins whether the president is going to be also in attendance. But what we can ascertain is that Raila Odinga is on his way to Bomas of Kenya for that meeting between the IEBC and the two main players for this repeat presidential poll. All right, so we want now, before we wrap up, to cross over and speak to my colleague Patrick Amimo. Patrick has been following up on what's happening at the county hall. Remember that today the Parliamentary Select Committee will be receiving from today, actually until Thursday, will be receiving memoranda from the public with regard to the Electoral Laws Amendment Bill 2017. Let me just speak to him. Patrick, thank you for joining us. What can you tell us so far with regard to what is being presented at the county hall?
Thank you, Betty. Currently, this particular sitting has adjourned for at least 15 minutes to allow the committee and members of the public who are keen to participate in this particular process organize themselves, and expected at around 11 they'll have to convene for the next batch of presentations. Already, before they took a break, we had presentations from 3 people. We had the the National Council of NGO, whose chairperson Stephen Cheboy appeared before the committee and did present his views. It is his opinion that these particular amendments, though despite the fact that they've attracted a lot of condemnation from a section of the opposition, and also we've seen their own voice say that they are not, it's not the right time to introduce these changes at this particular time. He's of the view that these particular changes should not cause tension across the country. He says Parliament has an oversight role and legislative role, so it should continue with its mandate and ensure that it puts in place good laws to ensure that these election processes are okay. The only thing that he brought out that was a bit the proposed amendment was about the IEBC composition, where the current draft bill says that the composition should be of 3 people or 3 members, but it is the opinion of the National Council of NGOs that the membership to IEBC should be increased to at least 4 to form the quorum. I mean, the quorum should be increased from 3 to 4 or 5 thereabouts. That was the only reservation he had about that particular provision. We also had presentations from at least a businessman from Kajiado, that is Elijah Olemetian, who also supported these particular amendments. Is of the view that they are timely, and he says that the ad hoc committee should continue with its amendments as they've been proposed. Is in support of them. So is also very comfortable with the changes that have been proposed to the IEBC Act, where now the chairperson should not be a person necessarily with the qualifications for a lawyer or a judge a person to serve in the Supreme Court of Kenya as a judge. He says that's okay. Anybody can serve as a chairperson in that particular role. So he's in support of that amendment. He never gave any other observations with regard to that, on why maybe he feels we should whittle down the qualifications of the chairperson of IEBC. The other aspect that we saw was that he also was of the opinion that the Supreme Court of Kenya ruling, he feels that the Supreme Court is composed of seven judges. So it's his opinion that he felt that it was not right for the Supreme Court of Kenya to overturn that verdict that declared President Uhuru Kenyatta elect, because he feels, according to him, he says these were 4 people, and he says only 4 people cannot determine a decision that has been made by millions of Kenyans who came out to vote. So those are his opinions when he appeared before the committee. We've also had a third person, that is Hilary Vidonyi, a youth from Lamu, also coming out in support of these particular draft amendments, and he says they are correct. According to him, he sees nothing wrong with these particular amendments, and he's told the select committee to go ahead with its amendments. So we are yet to see maybe any person coming on board to enrich these particular proposals, as they've been as as they've been set out. We expect, but we're still expecting these other members of the public to come on board after this break, maybe from 11 thereabouts, and see what they'll be presenting before the committee. But as it were, some proposals, there are some people are in support of them, others they feel that they fall short, but the finer details have not been presented. There is that provision that deals with those poll officials who refuse to, would decline to sign those particular statutory forms or declaration forms. Those who presented their views here are in support of that particular provision. They say it is good. So I think that is what is happening here. And anytime they'll be convening for this particular session to continue. Betty?